Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Plant-Based Kristin. We are on episode 7 already, which is pretty crazy that it's now been 7 weeks of me doing this, but I think that's pretty awesome. What we are going to go over today is making our very own vegetable stock here at home. As you've seen in other videos, I have been acquiring some vegetable scraps, so much so in fact that they wouldn't all fit in the one bag. So I then this is an old coffee container. I try and recycle as many things as I possibly can and reuse things. And when I ran out of space, I figured, you know, what else am I going to use a big tub like this for? So I have a bunch of stuff in here and a bunch in here. So basically all you do, it's pretty simple. You're just going to throw it all. I have this huge stock pot back here behind me. You throw all the vegetables into the stock pot, and then you basically fill the stock pot with water. You're going to boil it, so I'm going to leave about maybe 2 inches from the top, just so that it doesn't boil over on me. So, here we go. And I literally save everything. So I save onion scraps, the skin, I save, ooh, this is still very frozen, hold on. Onion scraps, the skin, I saved, you know, ends of cabbage, ends of celery, like literally anything that you can think of. Hold on. Let's start with the tub, shall we? Anything that you can think of that you normally would not use. That came out really easy. I have some asparagus ends in here. Corn on the cob, like the part that you peel off, I put that in here. So literally, you know, any part that you would normally just throw away, you can actually use and put in a vegetable stock. And when you're done making the broth, you just basically sift out all the vegetable pieces, and then you just left with the broth. And it's pretty fantastic, and it saves you money, because I don't know if any of you guys have bought those jugs at the store, but those jugs of broth are like $3 or $4 each, just for like, what, like a gallon? Not even, maybe 2 pints. And yeah, so between that and the vegetable bouillon cubes that I buy, I really don't spend a lot on vegetable broth itself, and why should I when I can just make my own? And I'm wasting less vegetable pieces this way too, because it's all going towards something instead of, you know, in my garbage disposal or in my trash. So, there we go. So yeah, as you guys know, I spent a week in New York, and I did a ton of cooking when I was there. That, in addition to how much I normally cook, ended up being more vegetable stuff than I usually have, so. Alright, we're just going to start filling this bad boy up with water. We're almost there. Actually, let me just do this. Oh, that's heavy. Okay, so just so you guys can kind of see what I've got going on. I left like probably, can you see the water? Did I shake it? So I left maybe like 2 inches from the top. Plus this is going to cook down a little bit and it's going to make it a little bit fuller. But, oh my god, this is heavy. But yeah, all you do is get it boiling. And then when it's boiling, you then let it simmer. You lower the heat, and I usually lower it to maybe like medium-low. You lower the heat to about medium-low, and you let it simmer for anywhere from 20 minutes up to an hour. The longer you let it simmer, the more flavor it's going to get. And then you sift out all the vegetable pieces so that you're left with just the broth. And then usually what I do is I taste the broth, and then I'll flavor it a little bit. But the vegetable broth you usually use as like a base for something. So, and I know some people like to have low sodium broth, in which case you don't add any salt to it. And this way you just have the vegetable flavors, and you can always flavor it later whenever you put it in whatever you're making. And you can use vegetable broth for pasta sauces, for soups themselves, of course. I've used it for stir fries, and so I put it in a lot of stuff actually. So it's really awesome, and a big stock pot like this is going to make a ton. And I think I've shown you my freezer before. Sorry, my alarm's going off. And I think I've shown you my freezer before where I have, you know, just containers and containers of it frozen. And it'll stay good for, I think, up to like a month or two. And I usually use it before then anyway, so. And I'm just going to grab a spoon here to kind of poke at this guy a little bit. Push these guys down. And yeah, we just wait for that guy to boil and then let it simmer, and it's so easy to make your own vegetable stock, it really is. So yeah, I'm gonna wait for this guy to boil, maybe probably 10 minutes, just because it's so full of stuff. And I'll see you guys in a few. Alright guys, as you can see, we are finally boiling, and it did rise quite a bit. So I'm now gonna put it on a simmer. Because this pot is so full, I'm gonna put it at like, it's like a number 4 on my thing, but it's not quite medium low, a little bit higher, so like a little bit closer to medium than medium low. And then we're just gonna let it simmer. I'm gonna give it a good 30 minutes, I think, on this stuff. So we'll let it simmer for about 30 minutes, and then at 30 minutes we will then pour out all of the vegetable stuff and separate it from the stock. And then I've got some containers that I washed ready for the broth. And yeah, and then that's it. So I'll see you guys in about a half hour. Okay, so the soup has been simmering now for 30 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to separate it from the broth itself. So got a colander here. And now we're going to pour it right into the container here. Very carefully, because I don't want to burn myself. So, I'm going to take this and I'm going to scoop most of it out, and I'm just going to throw it into like a bowl. Hold on, let me throw it into this guy right here. Turn it off. We're just taking all the vegetable scraps out. And then once the pot's a little bit more empty, I'm going to pour very carefully into this container over here. See, I've got carrot scraps in here, onion scraps, green bean scraps, garlic, and all that flavor goes into this broth, so it's awesome. Hot. And we're getting to the bottom here. I think we're good to pour now. So we are very carefully and very slowly going to pour this pot into this container, and then once I fill that up, I'll pour it into the other container that I've got set aside. I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing here. Alright, nice and easy. There's one container. I can't see through this one, so okay, we're about halfway there. I've got a little bit more, so let's try and finish it up in these two containers. That one's pretty full. I'm going to do this. And we're going to wait for these to cool before we put them in the freezer, of course, which will take a few minutes. That is really hot. Okay. there we are. Vegetable stock. Just like that. So yeah, it takes a little bit of time. A pot this big actually probably took a good like 15 or 20 minutes to actually boil. And then, yeah, I let it simmer for 30 minutes. So it probably took like a good hour total. But it's super easy. I was actually watching a show in between, so it's nice and leisurely at least. And when you're done, you have a ton of vegetable stock. Then you didn't waste any vegetables, which is awesome. So yeah, that's the vegetable stock episode. It's that simple. So there's a new episode every Wednesday. Plant-Based Kristin, thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions about anything that I did tonight, or if you want me to try anything new, feel free to leave it in the comments. And I had fun cooking with you, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.